Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Toxic Electricity, and we're here to talk about something that is missing at my home. And that particular something that is missing at my home is the atmospheric DC voltage. And I inadvertently discovered during many plant experiments that atmospheric DC voltage is not present at my home, and the absence of it makes you quite sick, and I've always exhibited fatigue in this home. So I want to show you some of the things that I've been experimenting with, and this is the first plant that I want to show you. So this is a Dieffenbachia. And the interesting thing is about this plant is this is the old growth and this is the new growth, and it's all very comparable. So there isn't much difference, and for years I've not been able to grow this plant like this at my home until I connected it up to a battery. So the reason why this plant is growing well is because the pot has the positive terminal of the battery connected to it, and the plant has the negative terminal connected to it, and it's now growing normally. So this is how a Dieffenbachia should grow when you bring it into your home. And the interesting thing about this particular experiment is that it doesn't matter which way around you connect the battery. So this battery is connected the opposite way around. So we have the positive going to the plant, and we have the negative going to the metal pot. And this one is exhibiting excellent growth as well. And this is the way it's supposed to look. So if you get the voltage wrong, you're going to get something that looks like this. So this one has actually been grown on 9 volts DC, and this is the negative pot and the positive to the plant. And you can see that we've got a very deformed plant at that voltage. And it's the same with the opposite voltage. But there's something interesting that happens at the opposite voltage, and that is the clip corrodes at the opposite voltage. So when you make the top of the plant negative and the pot positive, you get corrosion problems occurring. So you can see this plant is almost dead right now. So both plants don't like 9 volts, but they love 1.5 volts. And I'm going to show you what led me to this discovery, because I was actually seeing some very extensive plant growth defects, and this one was growing in a radio frequency field and exhibited very, very small and deformed growth. And this one right here was a control plant, and even my control plants were showing some quite extensive deformities. So now that I've actually cracked the secret of how to grow one of these Dieffenbachia plants, I'm now applying the techniques to the human. And part of this technique is actually documented in this book. And if you want to know more about how the human is supposed to be grounded, you should take a read of this book, because it extensively documents it. So that's part of this diagram. So you can see the natural state of the human is to be in contact with the ground. So your feet are supposed to be in contact with the ground, but you're also supposed to be subjected to this atmospheric DC voltage, and without it you may actually get quite sick. So I've now progressed testing into the human domain, and this is very, very experimental. So I don't advise you to copy this technique, nor do I know what the side effects long-term are from this technique. So it's a very, very risky technique. And if you choose to implement it, then you are going into a very risky area, and you would be assuming all of those risks associated with connecting yourself to a 1.5 volt battery. But I've actually been testing this now for a few weeks, and I can tell you that it appears to eliminate fatigue. which I found very, very interesting. And this is the way that I've been implementing it. So if you were to implement this technique, which I don't advise you to, you would purchase an anti-static heel strap. So this connects onto your heel, and you would then connect the electrical connection to the battery, and then the other side of the battery you would then connect to an anti-static wrist strap. And it's preferable not to use these coiled cables. I'm actually going to change this out for a straight cable in the near future. And you basically put this on your wrist, so this strap goes on like so, and you put this on the heel of your foot. And what you're doing is you're basically making this connection down here on the atmospheric DC voltage, and through the wrist you're actually making this connection up here. So you're actually putting a DC voltage potential across the human body. And it does some very interesting things to the human body, but the main thing I'm noticing is the lack of fatigue. And this may be a key factor in why people get fatigue. And I actually live in an area that has 3 cell phone towers. They're about 600 to 700 meters from my home. And I also have exposure to wireless transmitting utility meters. And the top symptom of wireless and radio frequency radiation exposures is fatigue. So it really isn't surprising that I actually exhibit fatigue. And I am not at all surprised to see that reintroducing this atmospheric DC voltage to the human body eliminates that fatigue. And it's a concerning finding because it means that in the area of my home, the atmospheric DC voltage is missing. And it's likely to be having some very, very significant impacts, not only to human health, but to nature. And I just wanted to report that finding. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to find out more information on this subject, you'll find it in the 2nd edition of Toxic Electricity. Thank you.